Spoiler alert, the following podcast includes discussions on film that may potentially, intentionally or inadvertently, reveal plot twists, character traits, story details, up to and including endings that might otherwise be considered spoilers. Proceed at your own risk.
You're listening to Moviesucktastic.
Sounds like some bad movie.
Yeah.
Could you hear that?
I can faintly. I can.
Oh.
Not really, but kind of.
Not really.
Anyway, hello.
Hello.
I can hear you.
Yes.
Welcome, everyone.
Hello.
This is Moviesucktastic Halloween Edition 2017.
That's right. Oh. Echoey.
Am I echoing?
No, I am. I don't know why.
Stop echoing.
I don't know why.
Motherfucker, cut it out.
Wish that was vodka or gin, but it's not.
How
It's water.
about whiskey?
Yes, whiskey. Oh, hi, whiskey. Ha.
Oh, hi, whiskey. Oh, you've been all my life.
You're my best friend.
You know everything about women, whiskey.
It's like you're an expert.
Oh, I can't wait to see the Disaster Artist.
I know.
That's looking good. You know what? And I have the book. I read the first 3 chapters, and I stopped, and I keep meaning to go back and finish it before the movie.
Yeah,
but,
if you started it, I would imagine you'd want to finish that.
Oh no, I did, and I'm telling you, from what I read, you got to read it.
Maybe I'll grab myself a copy. As a matter of fact, it should be in any of. I should be able to get it from my local library.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Either it's in Kindle format too, an audiobook.
Oh, nice.
I have the Kindle format and the audiobook. I just haven't finished it. I'm embarrassed. But from what I read, it was fucking hilarious. Like, even it was all pre-production. This was all like leading up to the making of the film. I hadn't even gotten to the actual film, and it was just fucking awesome. Yeah.
Now, this is not that important, but does the author read the book? A lot of times the author will read the book for the audiobook.
I don't know, but I can look it up right now.
Okay. I'm curious. Only because, obviously, it was the one actor that was in the movie wrote the book, right? Yeah.
Yes, yeah, Mark.
Mark. Oh, hey, Mark.
Right.
Yeah, I heard you wrote a book.
Was originally he was helping produce it.
Mm.
And then that's what I got out of the first couple of chapters and then what's his name? I'm like 4 glasses of whiskey in, so I apologize if I forget names and stuff at random.
Tommy Wiseau
just became obsessed with, no, you got to play the lead role. You have to be Mark. Hold on. Well, you introduce what we're doing while I look up if he reads it.
All right. So last week, we were going over basically what we're doing is we're talking about all the horror films that we've been watching, and we're bringing them to the show. And last week, Scott had mentioned that he briefly mentioned the Lords of Salem, the Rob Zombie film. And I had also mentioned that which was a mistake, that I had not seen it yet. So after Scott
Motherfucker.
yelled at me, I decided to go and watch it, and that is what I'm bringing to the show this week.
That's right.
Now, if this was a movie challenge, if this turned out to be a movie challenge and it was now my turn to give you a movie challenge, it would have to be a Ty West film, because this movie is so fucking boring. Nothing happens.
All right, hang on. All right, let's just backtrack a sec before
Fucking
we get in.
pretentious nonsense.
Hold on, before we dive into the Lords of Salem.
Yeah.
You did challenge me to the Kevin Smith film Tusk,
I did.
which I immediately avoided watching.
Well,
So
Scott-
luckily we had
Scott-
this as a fallback. So that's my bad. I it's very seldom that I can't bring myself to watch a film, and I was like, fuck no.
Well, I did
So-
mention to you that it is a challenge and it could be brought to the show anytime this month. It doesn't
Right, so
have to be this week or next
But
week.
it is, yeah, so I'm aiming for next week with that, on top of the other horror films we'll be talking about leading up to Halloween. And we're going to be watching, Joey and I are planning on going to see the opening night showing
Jigsaw.
of Jigsaw, because the Saw films was a ritual with us. We would go every Halloween to watch it.
That's right.
Opening weekend. So we're going to try to do opening weekend. I don't know what night, what have you. Originally we
I
had
can
a
come
whole...
to you. I mean, this is something for off the air, but I can come to you Friday night. We could do it Friday night.
That's what I was gonna suggest, something along those lines. We will talk off the air.
Yes.
And we'll try to record a review as soon as possible and get it out there, because I'm sure everybody's just waiting to find out what we think about
off
it.
the air, but we could do a little kind of like a vignette, driving to the theater, leading up to it. Then if we see a early show and we go to dinner, we can talk about it at dinner, do a little thing, and just put like a little 15, 20-minute thing together.
Sure.
I think that would work beautifully.
Love it.
Love it.
Yeah. But anyway. Oh, I better slow down on this.
Don't
Oh,
get
by
ahead
the
of
way,
yourself.
yes, The Disaster Artist is narrated by the author, Greg Sestero.
That's awesome. I love
No.
it.
I need to. My problem is my commute is too short. My commute's only like 20 minutes. That's not enough time for me to get into a book on tape. Podcast, yeah. Book on tape.
I could blow through an audiobook in 2 days.
Well,
Commute.
you better get a copy of it. They have it at audible.com, which we used to have an advertising thing with, and we don't anymore. So fuck them. But I still use them. I mean, I like it, but I'm a semi Amazon whore, so they're part of Amazon. But anyway, Lords of Salem. We'll start off with that.
Yeah.
Now, so basically, I watched this years ago, and
Yeah, this
the film
movie's 5 years old already.
5 years old. I watched it about 2 or 3 years ago. I waited, and I told Joey. I think my basic review to Joey was, I found myself saying every 20 minutes or so, "What the fuck am I watching?" And he keeps. There's a lot of bad films that he hasn't watched yet that I need to force him to watch, including all the fucking Twilights.
Yeah, that's gonna be.
Yeah, I went opening night to see Twilight.
See, he keeps bringing that up.
Right,
Like
did it for the show.
I made him do it.
I did it for the show, and then he's like, "I never watched them." Well, yeah, we're gonna have to plan. We're gonna plan like a fucking all-nighter marathon at your house. I'll come over with a bottle of something, and we're just doing all of them without tracks. Yeah. Right now we're on Lords of Salem. Mm-hmm. So Lords of Salem was made in 2012 by Rob Zombie.
And this is the film that he made when he lost The Blob.
Right.
He wrote and directed this, and not that he made this instead of The Blob. He didn't get The Blob, or he backed out of it and ended up doing this pile of shit instead.
So already we have a feel for how Joey felt about the film. I feel slightly vindicated. Okay.
Oh yeah.
So the basic plot of the film is, you want to take this?
Sure. The basic plot of the film is back in the 18th century.
It's called the Salem Witch Trials. Just say Salem Witch Trials.
Okay, so 19th century. I believe it's the 19th century. the one lead witch that runs this coven. What's her name? It's it's Meg Foster, who got really old. She plays Margaret Morgan, and she leads this group of witches, which also Andrew Prine, he plays Reverend Jonathan Hawthorne. Yeah. He's the one that has like this hard-on for taking care of them, burning them at the stake, and killing all of the women that they've kind of I don't know, not possessed. They what's the word I'm looking for? Brainwashed, I guess you could say. They've kind of mesmerized, whatever you want to call it.
Oogly boogly.
So anyway, he's also, and I was like, I'm watching this, and I'm like, he looks so familiar. I know who this fucking guy is. He's so fucking familiar. And it's, what's his face from Eliminators. He was the riverboat captain guy.
You could basically describe the entire cast as a bunch of old actors and Rob Zombie's wife.
Yeah, who, I kept reading reviews that this is her best performance, and if you look at all her previous, that's what I was going to say. If you look at all her other bodies of work, this probably is her best performance. But my God, is she a shitty actress? She is so the opposite of good.
All right, now, Rob
she
Zombie
really is she's really bad.
Rob Zombie, and of course, since I can only see Rob Zombie pitching this as a listen, sweetie, I got a great new film I'm working on, and I'm writing the main role just for you. It's this junkie idiot, and right there, the conversation should stop, But apparently, It kept going, and she started in the film. I don't know. I guess she saw the vision, whatever the fuck that was.
It's called his penis. They've been together like 25 years.
I think I would have rather have seen Rob Zombie's penis than this film. Maybe not for that duration.
No, not for an hour and 40 minutes.
No, but I could have handled it quick.
The way I look at this film, and I'll get to the plot in a quick second. I know I started and we went off.
That's okay. There's no rush to get to the plot. The film doesn't rush to get to it. Why should you?
Yeah. Okay. It's like what it feels like to me is Rob Zombie was on some indie film or Ty West kick, and said, "I can do that."
No, take it one higher. This is Rob Zombie thinking he's a fucking genius, and don't get me wrong, he did some really great stuff. I still stand by. House of a Thousand Corpses is fucking great.
Devil's Rejects,
great. The first Halloween.
Yeah, I like the first Halloween.
Probably the best of out of the main three horror franchises, Halloween, Friday the 13th, and Nightmare on Elm Street, probably the best reboot yet.
Oh, definitely. That's not even a question.
Right. Now, Halloween 2, what the fuck?
Yeah, well.
You know what it is? Halloween, he took all the best elements of Halloween for that one, and then for Halloween 2, he took all the worst elements of all the Halloweens. Yeah. And said, let me just go play with this. And then somewhere between Halloween 2 and not doing the Blob, he said to himself, I'm a genius. And never.
You can tell that maybe he's not exactly thinking that, but maybe he's thinking, man, I got this. Because if you look at a lot of his panning shots, the cinematography, I would never even thought I'd say this about Rob Zombie, but you could see him putting the screen in his hands, this shot is great. I'm gonna.
Yeah.
So he does that a lot, like the zoom ins, the fade outs. You could tell that he, at some point during the making of the film, or even beforehand, when he was visualizing, he's like, "Yeah, I got this. I got this."
I remember saying the next day when I was angrily tweeting and messaging people because I'm a big shot, saying that when you watch this film, all you can think of is Rob Zombie jerking off and thinking to himself, "Oh yeah, I'm fuck." The alcohol's got me. Oh yeah, I'm Stanley Kubrick. I'm the next Stanley Kubrick. Especially the scenes in the hallway and shit. It's like this is so fucking Stanley Kubrick. It's like not even Stanley Kubrick. But what the fuck you doing? come on, guy.
Well,
Really.
sure. What about that one shot where she's crossing, like she's walking across this bridge, and it's this beautiful fall background. The leaves are changing. They're on the water. They're floating, and it's just this calm, serene. And then the camera is moving with her slowly, and it's like this. It's a nice shot, but it's just like, what are you doing, man?
Every single fucking hallway shot, every single shot of the death room, every single shot in that building is I'm Kubrick. And I even found a quote where he described his film. This is the director describing his own film. If Ken Russell directed The Shining.
Oh, I did read that too.
Yeah, dude. And so, oh, you know what? My film, it's as if this one famous director did a film by another famous director, and this was the result. Shut the fuck up. Really? You know, calm the fuck. Now, what was the last film he just had come out?
31?
Yeah. Went back to his roots. I don't think it really brought anything new to the table, but it was just kind of like, I think 31 is equivalent to
33. Might be 33.
31? No, it's 31.
31?
Because it's Halloween, 31st day.
Fine. Okay.
Yeah, which just call it fucking Halloween, asshole. But 31
Which
for me,
I haven't seen that yet.
is what? Seen what? 31.
31. I haven't seen it yet.
31 to me is Rob Zombie's equivalent of M. Night Shyamalan's The Visit, except he was making up for like one film or two films, and Shyamalan was making up for like 5.
Okay.
But both of them like, oh, you know what? I forgot what I was doing. Let me go back to what I know how to do. And they both kind of nailed it on that low budget, just here's a film to enjoy kind of level. But yeah, this is the Lords of Salem is just a directorial fucking wank job all the way through.
I had read that he was given complete written and directorial freedom to make the Lords of Salem.
And that's what you don't fucking do with these people.
Well, that was always
that's what happens to Terry Gilliam.
I was just going to say, yes, thank you. Terry Gilliam's problem.
Like Wachowski's with fucking Matrix 2 and 3.
Mm-hmm.
Any one of these any of these fucking artists, these film artists, when they have to fight tooth and nail for every choice, and have to try to meet a standard, it forces them to be creatively, creative. I guess you could say. I'm losing words, but then you say, "Oh, do whatever you want." Like, "Oh, well, I'm a fucking genius, so watch this shit." And then, it's like, "What the fuck is this?" It's like every other thing that Neil Gaiman's ever done in his fucking life. Oh, by the way, quick aside. Speaking of artists, I started watching
American Gods.
American Gods, right?
Yeah.
After 4 episodes, I'm done.
Oh, really? I liked it.
It's too fucking melodramatic, and you know what? There's more gay sex in these things than a fucking gay porn.
Well, you've seen that one scene then, right?
That one episode with the taxi cab driver.
Oh yeah, I watched that and I just lean over to Mara. I'm like, this is just a little too gay for me.
Hey, I've seen gay porn, and I was more comfortable than I was watching that whole scene.
What was that? It was called a gin. I believe it was called a gin.
Yeah, gin. DJINN.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm familiar with it. But this whole thing of now let me show you other gods. Let me show you other gods. You know what? Just show me the fucking story. Why don't you? It's just like everything I expect from Neil Gaiman post the first 20 issues of Sandman. Just fucking wannabe rock star, but it's like him and Clive Barker should just go away.
I do say that I did enjoy the entire first season. I think there's only 8 episodes, so you only have 4 to go.
I enjoyed the parts that involved story, but it's all these fucking asides to other gods. It's like, I'm watching this for a storyline. And I really like to keep following the storyline.
From what I understand, I did not read the book, but my wife did. She said that the show follows the book pretty much to a T.
Which doesn't surprise me in the least because I've already lost fucking interest. I remember The Great and Secret Show, one of his books. I think it was the last book of his I tried to read, and I got like 3 chapters in. I was like, just fuck it. Just. but fantasy's never been 100% my thing. It's maybe it's me, but anyway, Lords of Salem.
Lords of Salem. So anyway, the main plot of the film is the Sherry Moon zombie Heidi gets a record in the mail. What?
Right. Here we go. First step of a witch cult or satanic plot. Make it as convoluted as fucking possible so it never could have actually come together in the first place.
Right.
So she's a DJ.
She's a DJ
at a radio station with two other DJs.
Right. And they're like the #1 show in Boston. They make sure they point that out like 3 times.
Oh, sure. Yeah, because after 10 minutes listening to them, I want to listen to them all day.
Yeah, and I was just thinking to myself, I'm like, if this was a podcast, I wouldn't listen to this.
Yeah. If you ever watch Parks and Recreation,
mm-hmm.
they have their phony local shock jocks.
Oh, right.
Yeah, and like if you sit through like 5 minutes of them doing their phony spiel, and then you listen to this one, it's like it's the same fucking thing. These they're supposed to be popular, not annoying.
Right.
Yeah, it's like I don't. Anyway, but so she works at this radio station with 2 other people. She's living in an apartment owned by, spoiler alert, the Witch's Coven. who are talking to her and like having her drinks with her and stuff. They mail the record to the station, hoping that she listens to it instead of the other 2 people. Instead of just giving it to her and say, "Hey, we have this. You should listen to it."
Right, and their main intention, although I will say, their main intention for doing that at the radio station. Is so well because if you remember when they play it over the airwaves, tons of women that are tuning into the show just become hypnotized.
Right. So let me go back to that plot. Knock on the door. Hi, tenant. Hey, we just had drinks the other night. Here's this record. You should play it at your radio station. There, I just solved that for you.
There you go.
Oh, and by the way, speaking of pretentious fucking Rob Zombie. The Man of the Moon.
Oh, God, yeah.
Fuck you. Really? Really? We're going to put that in there?
Yeah, as soon as I saw that, I was really annoyed by it.
Yeah. But the 2 things in that scene that signal that this is going to be a shitty film was pretentious film reference and his wife's fucking ass. I fuck that, people. Look at that. See that? That's mine. Really, it's almost as creepy as watching the Stendhal Syndrome, Dario Argento's film in which he repeatedly films his daughter being raped.
Who very recently said Harvey Weinstein raped her. Good.
No, I obviously didn't.
What the fuck?
Let me take that back. I apologize. See how worked up this has me? No, but like Dario Argento, honey, I wrote a film just for you. I have a part I wrote just for you.
Let's see those C cups, baby.
Okay. No, I want to see more pain in your face, dear.
If you've ever seen Dario Argento, he's a creepy looking motherfucker. I'm not surprised that he even did that.
He's Italian, so.
Hey. Come on.
I'm sorry, I couldn't resist. But speaking of Argento, it's a great comparison between Argento and this because it's the one thing. I was an Argento fan when I was young and stupid, and I still am to an extent because the thing with Argento's films and the thing with, like, say, if you're trying to defend Lords of Salem, is that, visually, they're quite stunning. Visually, they're interesting. But it's nice to have a fucking plot or a storyline that makes sense behind it.
Right.
You kind of forgive the earlier Argento films, like the 70s. What was the Italian Giallos? But then when you get to the 90s and he's still making the same shitty films, like, dude, stop writing your own screenplays. Please stop writing your own fucking screenplays. You're a great director. Just do that. Please.
Quack quack.
But that's like a great comparison. Is like almost every Argento film and Lords of Salem. It's just okay. The direction's good, but someone to let the director write. And what the fuck was that about?
Yeah, right. So the record is mailed to her radio station. She plays it, mesmerizes pretty much the entire town of women, or enough women, and
Which bitches?
yeah, it's the witches that'll get you. But throughout the film, she's starting to get more and more sick, more and more deluded. She's starting to become, I don't know, she's just like in a cloud. And it leads up to the climax of the film, but
Now hold on.
she starts doing drugs again.
I don't think climax is the proper term for this film.
No, you're right.
Let's not jump the gun and say climax. Let's say extended ending. Let's do. Can we maybe prolonged?
I hear there's
completion.
a novelization of the movie that supposedly ties up a ton of loose ends.
Well, the novelization is written by Rob Zombie.
Yeah.
And the novelization apparently follows the screenplay more strictly, which, again, there's another problem with a writer-director with no, I don't know, just who's lost his fucking mind, is that it's like, oh, well, here's what I wrote, but you know what we're going to do? Get the priest stroking the dildos. Put them right in there. Yeah, let's do this shit. I don't even know if that's in the screenplay or not. I haven't read the novelization, but yeah.
I don't know.
But
it's in the movie.
Oh yeah, it is. And I don't mind that, mind you. But usually, I there's a point where his film intersects with there's like Rob Zombie artistic horror, and then there's like pornography, artistic porn, and
Sure.
it kind of crosses.
It's like Rob Zombie meant Salo.
No. That's Salo's not pornography. You mean like Rob Zombie met the Dark Brothers from the like 70s and 80s?
Behind the Green Door.
No, not Behind the Green Door. We're talking new wave hookers.
Oh yeah, New Wave hookers. Sure.
That shit. Yeah, that's where it all started. Night trips, that kind of stuff. Please, But that's right. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. Let's get back to the beginning.
Who was the guy that was directing that stuff? It was Blake something or something Blake?
There's Blake Seven, but he wasn't directing the Dark Brothers.
No. It was something Blake. He was doing the more artsy, more cinematographic type porns.
Robert Blake.
Yeah, there you go. Maybe not.
Hang on.
It's something Blake.
No, not Robert Blake. No.
No, Robert Blake. No, not that guy.
Not Robert Blake.
Not the actor. The actor?
The actor who killed his wife?
Allegedly.
Allegedly. No, that's right. He couldn't have killed his wife because he left his gun in the restaurant.
Yeah, right.
The only Blake off the top of my head for pornography is Blake Seven.
No, there's another Blake.
Okay. Hang on one second.
Let's see if I can find it real quick.
Well, the Dark Brothers, I'm trying to find. Gregory Dark was Gregory. The Dark Brothers. That was I don't know his last name. But we're getting sidetracked with porn, as is usually the case.
Yes, it is.
So the DJ junkie idiot slut. I'm throwing slut in there just because I'm angry at the film. It has nothing to do with she doesn't sleep with anybody in the film. Even
really?
like the poor guy that keeps hitting on her nonstop.
Huh.
But
that's right. That guy. He's like he wants in her pants badly.
So here's where the film goes. The first time we see them at work, they're interviewing like a heavy metal band guy and mocking him because that's what you do with your guests. You mock them openly. Well, I guess like in a Howard Stern sense you kind of do. He's like, oh, we're mocking, we're shedding light on the evils of Christianity and Jesus, the true bringer of death. And then she gets the evil record by the witches. And who's her next guest? Oh, since we're a radio station that does music mainly, we're interviewing an author of a book on witchcraft.
Right.
Or the Salem witch trials.
And the director is...
Pure coincidence.
No, yeah, exactly. The director
Purely
is
coincidence.
purely coincidence. The porn director is Andrew Blake.
Oh, Andrew Blake. Oh, okay, yeah.
He did all the artsy stuff. He did Night Trips and...
Night Trips, yeah.
There was that one artsy one where it had what the fuck was it called? But anyway, it had a scene where this girl had like this tiger's face painted on her ass, and it looked like the tiger was like
all right,
blowing, like it was like going up and down on a penis, and it looked like it was having oral sex with it.
Giselle.
Oh my god, the fact that you remember that. But yes, you're the one that gave that to me.
No. I don't know. I just heard about it. I don't even know what you're talking about.
Exactly. Giselle. He did Giselle. He did Night Trips. He did the artsy stuff.
Yeah. Anyway, so just coincidentally, they're interviewing, a guy who wrote a book on the Salem witch trials, and like they don't even. It's not even like. The record delivered is from the Lords, and then the black disc jockey's like, I guess we should call them the Lords of Salem. And like later on, like the guy keeps saying,
Ken Foray, by the way. Anyone that doesn't know that, who doesn't know who Ken Foray is, he was in Dawn of the Dead, the George A. Romero film. Yeah, plus amongst other horror films.
Yeah, no, but that's the main one he's known for, and that's the tip of the hat from Rob Zombie. Good for bringing that up.
When they say black don't crack, they mean it. Ken Foray looks exactly the same. He's like 70.
Yeah, I don't know. And they reference him wearing a wig in the film, but I don't know if he actually is or if that's a joke. I think he is though, because he's bald. He's bald when he appears as a priest in the Dawn of the Dead remake.
Well, yeah, and his headshot that's on IMDb, he's bald.
Yeah, so I guess that was right. Okay.
Yeah.
But what was I getting at? When you cut me off.
When I cut you, I fucking cut you, bitch. You were talking about the author.
Yeah, the author. So he said
who's played by Bruce Davison, by the way.
Yeah,
famously known as being the douchebag senator or politician in the X-Men films.
X-Men, yeah. Let's not hold that against him, please. He's been in countless.
He was
things.
fine in those movies. I'm just saying he's the douchebag politician.
I just it's like I hate when these actors they have like these long careers. It's like best known as the politician in X-Men. No, not best known as that. Please stop. But he throughout the film when he's researching this shit, he's like, and this band's known as the Lords of Salem. No, they're not. They're not. They're just the Lords.
They're just
the Lords. We don't know where they're from. They sent a record. You can mail that shit from fucking anywhere. Come on. So the one thing you mentioned Ty West.
Oh yeah.
And of course, because this film reminds me of House of the Devil. It's just the same bullshit. The same.
It's just a lot of pretentious crap leading up to nothing.
And also, so witchcraft guy, witchcraft scholar.
Right.
Okay, I think these women are witches, and they're holding her against their will. What should I do? Maybe I should go to their house and talk to them. Unarmed and alone. What the fuck? Really?
Yeah, and when she invites him in, he's reluctant. You could see he's like, "I'll come back later." She's like, "No, come in now." And he's like, "Oh, okay."
Yes, dear. What the fuck? And by the way, let's just point out the fact that Rob Zombie makes a point of like hinting where when he asked her, "Oh, where'd you get the record from?" She says, "Oh, it was addressed to me here." I was surprised because no one really knows my real name, and he was like, "Oh, okay." First of all, and then she is a direct lineage to this witch hunter, Hawthorne, the witch hunter.
Yeah, Jonathan Hawthorne.
Right, she's his direct heir. She's fucking clueless as to why she's having visions of Satanism and goats and shit. Meanwhile, the fucking witchcraft researcher pretty much Googles her fucking name.
He totally does.
Right, and she's like, "Oh, I didn't even think anybody knew my real name." He goes to the radio website, and it says in big letters, bigger than her bigger than her fucking professional name, real name, bam. Yeah, I don't know how anybody. There's what?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
so
come on, Rob. You know you're smarter than that.
And the Witchfinder Googles the fucking information that she doesn't know from, I don't know, living her life. And now, that's all. That is all. That's the first hour of the film. From dippy chick getting a mysterious record to stupid witch hunter being killed by witches in their own kitchen. That's an hour of the film. Roughly.
Yeah, no, it's a good solid hour. I mean,
right.
And they do these other things too, like the days of the week, and it starts off with Monday.
Speaking of The Shining.
Yeah, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. It just does all these days of the week. Days of the week, and way the scenes end, and then starts up with Tuesday, and nothing is happening. It makes it. By the way, it is, and I keep using this word because it is the right way to describe it. It is pretentious.
Extremely, and also let's be fair. When there's no real time frame given, Tuesday means fucking jack shit to me.
Yep.
If you swap that screen out with Wednesday,
doesn't matter.
I didn't know. I didn't notice. You know what the fuck? But yeah, and then in between the subtle weavings of plot, there are the long, drawn-out dream sequences. Now, I will admit, the one dream sequence I like is when the priest forces her to blow him while he's... I love that scene. It's great. It ended too quickly, and it actually reminded me of Andrew Blake a lot. I'll give you that.
And just during that scene when he's just ranting about how she's the sinner and he's the only one that could save her, her head's bobbing up and down in the shot.
An actor, 10 times better performance than anything she does throughout the film.
That's right.
You know, and I'm not purposely trying to badmouth, you know, the woman that let her husband film her bare-assed, you know, almost half of the film.
Right.
I'm not saying anything about her as a person, but holy shit, really?
She only does movies that Rob Zombie makes. They said that she has only acted in one other thing ever, and it was for Tobe Hooper. I don't remember the name of it, but it was a favor to Rob Zombie because Tobe Hooper and Rob Zombie were friends. But anytime she gets an offer, which I'm sure she does all the time, but I'm sure it's also for B movies, she turns them all down.
You really think she gets a lot of offers?
For B films, sure.
Well, I mean, for like non-paying jobs, I'm sure she gets lots of those. I mean, and and so the only other film she appeared was Tobe Hooper, that brilliant director.
Right.
What the fuck?
So, but yeah, she only does Rob Zombie movies, and it really does show because he puts her in every single one.
She only does Rob Zombie films because he's the only one that's going to put her in movies. That's it.
Well,
period.
She's quoted as saying she didn't want to be an actress ever. But I guess when you're married to Rob Zombie and you don't have to worry about money, yeah, I guess that's true.
My respect for her has increased 1,000-fold because at least she recognizes that she's not an actress.
Yeah.
And and actually, my estimation of Rob Zombie just dropped a couple notches. No, really, I don't want to act. No, you're gonna be. I'm gonna film your ass, and you're gonna be a fucking crack whore idiot in this film. Get in front of the camera now.
There's a shot, and I don't remember.
It's like an abusive relationship.
Oh, right. I don't remember if it's. I saw this little. Not a making of, but it was just a little behind the scenes thing, and I don't know if it was for Lords of Salem or if it was for one of the Halloween films, but it had her like in a bathtub, and the shot is all set up and nothing's happening yet, but they're filming this behind the scenes stuff, and he just walks by. You could tell she's exhausted, and he just walks by and just kind of like puts her hand on her shoulder and like taps it, and it's like, yeah, we're almost done, or we're getting there. And then like he walks out of the shot, and I'm just like, she doesn't want to do this at all.
Yeah.
She's only doing it because she loves Rob Zombie.
Yeah. It's just and it's like this film is the worst of Rob Zombie, not in a cinematic level and probably a personal level too. I really just like what just
and it was because he was given complete freedom to do whatever he wanted.
Never give an artist complete freedom. Never.
Yeah.
Never. These motherfuckers need to be fucking reined in.
Unless they put up all of their own money, then they'll realize very quickly that, you can't just do anything that you want.
No, even then, don't let them do that. No. No, you need that. You need the shoulder angels. So yeah, we should do that, and your wife could be in there, and her ass. Yeah, we'll show her ass. It's like, no, you shouldn't do that, Rob. That doesn't make any sense in the screenplay, and you can do it cinematically without injuring the plot, without showing her ass. No, motherfucker, show her ass. You get rid of those shoulder angels. It's like, sweetie.
Exactly.
That's it. No,
we're showing your ass in this scene. I don't want to.
Yeah.
We're doing it because that's my vision.
Okay, so I kind of singled it here. I singled it out here. I've got it up on my screen. You're showing the background, right?
I am not showing the film in the background.
What are we showing in the background?
Just one of the lost and found.
Okay.
Yeah, I was going to show it, but I know it will be flagged on YouTube.
Yeah, probably.
So I figured this is an episode like the last 3 episodes, the last 2 and this one. They get uploaded to YouTube and we don't get flagged.
Okay.
So that's the only reason why I didn't show it tonight. Because
we're talking about other films. It makes sense.
We're 45 minutes in, and I know we want to talk about a couple of other horror films.
You are correct.
So,
I'm calling it right here at 1 hour and 20 minutes. That's when the cavalcade of directorial jerkfest begins.
Oh,
That's
sure.
when
The last 15 minutes, yeah.
The stage show, yeah. The last solid 15 minutes of look at me, I'm a fucking brilliant director. Watch me. And holy shit! What just? So were you like me? Did you literally stop like every 20 minutes or so and it's like, what the fuck am I watching?
Yeah, I mean I didn't. Well. Yeah,
at least
I'm watching it. Just to myself, I'm like, this isn't going. Nothing is going anywhere. That's when I said right then and there. I said I have to bring up Ty West on the show because if this was a movie challenge and I had to come up with a challenge to you, it would have to be a Ty West film. That would be my connection.
And you know what? I still haven't watched the his Jim Jones ripoff.
Which one was that?
It's the one. The one with the Jim Jones cult.
Oh, yeah, I haven't seen it either.
It's the something. I have a copy of it.
Yeah.
I just don't remember the name.
I'm about a half an hour into In a Valley of Violence, and I didn't stop it because I was I hated it or anything. It's just I watched about a half hour and I just said I just don't feel like fucking watching this right now.
Yeah.
I never went back to it.
Honestly, it's probably the best thing he's ever done because instead of like trying to be original, he just robbed every cliche from every Western film ever made. And the only thing that kept me going through it was like you watch this, Sylvester Stallone and who's the other actor?
John Travolta.
Oh, no, I meant John Travolta. John Travolta and who's the other actor?
Oh, Ethan Hawke.
Ethan Hawke. It was like these two have more movie experience in their careers than this motherfucker does, and whatever they're doing in spite of anything he told them.
Yeah.
And it was just like I want to watch these two act. It's the best Ty West film he's ever made because it's not bad per se.
Right.
It's just everything you'd expect from a Western.
Yeah, we did talk about it a little bit on the show, and you had mentioned that it's just everything that would come from a better Western or that type of genre, he just borrowed from.
I would never recommend it, but I also would not say, no, don't do that. I'd be like, yeah, you know what? You'll enjoy a couple. You'll enjoy, the performances. Yeah. Oh, I've got Lords of Salem playing on my third monitor here, which I don't use often anymore now that I don't work from home.
Oh.
And it's I watched a lot of movies in that when I was working from home. Fuck that shit.
I snuck the last half hour of the Lords of Salem at work today because I did fall asleep last night like I thought I was.
My new corporate overlords frown upon that kind of thing, so I have to watch films at home now after working hours.
Yeah, well, no, they wouldn't be happy if they saw me watching a film at work either, but it was so dead and no one was in my office. It was just like there's nothing going. I mean, I went and did jobs today.
Let me put it this way, I can't get away with it.
Yeah, no, I can. I just have to be careful if a nude scene comes on. It's like, oh, got to switch the screen real quick.
Okay. You know what freaks me out about the whole scene where you have her sitting next to the priest stroking dildos in front of them?
Yeah.
Is that two of them are like fisting the dildo, like they're like jerking off with that. But then the third one is using two fingers, and I don't know why, but that freaks the fuck out of me. The bishop one. Priest ones are using the fists, and you know what? And that I guarantee you, that's not something that Rob Zombie did not say. Listen, Bishop, use two fingers, do it kind of like weird, kind of effeminate. The rest of you guys full fist it. No way. For some
that's
reason,
how those actors actually jerk off.
Exactly. That guy was like, this is how you do it. It's like no.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen some porn where the dude is jerking off and he's doing it with two fingers.
I'm going to stop that conversation right there and move right back to the film. But this whole 15-minute sequence is just like
but it's the
just
truth.
like this
I
whole
don't know.
15.
It's a thing.
This whole 15-minute sequence at the end is hey. I bet I can do Ken Russell. No, you can't. And a lot of it really just feels like, oh, I saw Lair of the White Worm. I bet you I can do those hallucination scenes. No, Rob, you can't.
Oh, yeah.
No. And I remember one trivia I saw where it said, no special effects were used during this film. It needed some. What was that image? I'm like flashing through them right now. Ooh, a neon Jesus saves crucifix.
Oh God, yeah.
Oh, really? That's the best you got?
Two-fisted.
A crucified fetus. Oh, gee, you got me on fucking edge. It was almost like it just. It's like he flashed back to like his like music career. It's like, let me do a music video. Yeah, this will piss off the parents. No, wrong audience, dude. If I could do
anything I wanted in a music video, it would look like this movie.
Wrong audience, dude. Wrong fucking audience. You're not pissing off your teenagers' parents now. You're not. This is a real fucking film. Get back in the ball game. True. And it's weird. Again, coming from a guy whose past films just showed this brilliance. And I don't use that term lightly. I really think there was a brilliance to a lot of what he did in his earlier films. And then you got to this one, and which makes this even more painful because you're like, what the fuck happened?
Yeah.
It's like M. Night. You go from The Sixth Sense and Unbreakable.
Oh,
and then you go Earth First, whatever the fuck that was called.
After Earth.
After Earth, even like Lady in the Water.
The one before that, the one with Mark Wahlberg.
The Happening.
The Happening.
Yeah, you're like, what the fuck happened to you?
Yeah.
Really?
And Lady in the Water, that was another one.
Yeah, and again, that's the one where he crossed the line by like criticizing the critics.
Yeah.
At least Rob Zombie didn't sink that low before he would bounce back. But I mean, and maybe that's why it hurts and why sometimes we get like abusive with these films. I'm the same way with Kevin Smith. Like you get these guys where they do these early films, you're like, oh yeah, this guy's fucking on it. This guy has potential. This guy's gonna show us. And then like 10 years later, you're like, fuck, I've moved on. Why haven't you? Yeah.
I don't know.
But it's stuff like this. This is like a backslide. This is a huge and with Shyamalan was the same thing. It was this huge backslide of like, okay, doing great films to, all right, I'm just doing whatever I think people want to see, I guess, or I'm stroking myself thinking I'm a fucking genius. Meanwhile, and then the whole fucking ending where, like, with the radio overlay, say, mysterious deaths appeared at the theater. No one knows what happened.
32 deaths. Oh, and then they said the Heidi blah 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 Hawthorne has been missing, and we do not know the whereabouts. It's like, really?
I just,
In the novelization, from what I understand, the two other DJs die as well.
Oh, well, that would make more fucking sense, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Didn't have enough time in the film to it's when you're making a novel, when you're making an adaptation from a novel and you can't fit shit in, that's understandable. When you're shooting from a screenplay and you can't fit shit in, you just fucked up.
That's true.
Oh, I think we're done with it.
We should move on.
We're done. But again, silver lining, if you haven't seen 31, it doesn't make up for Lords of Salem.
Right.
Well, it's a step in the right direction.
Yeah.
Is there any word on what Rob Zombie's planning next, by the way?
Yeah, probably. Let me look him up real quick.
As he goes to IMDb real quick.
It's already up. So let's see if he's got anything in production. Now, he only did a 31. It was like last year.
Yeah,
so,
no, that's recent.
Yeah, that's the last thing. It says it's on his plate is 31.
Now, in development, apparently he's in development of The Hills Have Eyes, the beginning.
Oh, Jesus! Why?
No. I'm open to that.
Yeah,
I'm open.
Why? They've made 2 sequels. Just do something original.
No. So they didn't do 2 sequels. They did a sequel, then they did a reboot, and then a sequel to that. Don't get confused. You know what?
Yeah, okay.
I'm open.
I'll give you that.
And I'm open to that because he's talking about a prequel, which has not been done. There's been no prequel to either of those films. Now, which film he plans on doing a prequel to, the guys in furry loincloths or the nuclear test site people, that remains to be seen. But I'm open to that.
I guess.
Okay?
I guess.
Now, a film called Raised Eyebrows, just stop. Just stop. So let's move on to other horror films that we're going to cover during the month of Halloween.
Yes.
You first.
Me first. All right. So here, let me take Lords of Salem off my list here. Now I have 2 other films that I have, and I know you've seen both of them.
Okay.
I think I'm going to go with the film. I think I'm going to have to go with the film Life from 2017. That's the one with Jake Gyllenhaal, Ryan Reynolds, where they're in outer space. They find.
Oh yeah.
They find. Like they find a little speck of life on some dormant planet. They bring it back to their whatever Hubble spacecraft, whatever you want to fucking call it, home base, and they decide to fuck around with it.
Right. If I may, I remember my exact summary of the film the day after I watched it was, "Hey, we found new life on a strange planet. Let's poke it."
Yeah, and that's literally what they do is they poke and prod it, and then they freeze it to death to see if it could survive. And guess what? It does. And guess what happens after that? It gets angry.
Oh, okay. So, what's your basic feeling of the film?
I actually thought it was an okay movie. I didn't dislike it. Let's put it that way. And I especially liked the way it ended too. And I called it though. Mary Ellen wouldn't believe me.
I called it. it was a moment like it was just like Sixth Sense,
Right.
like just before the reveal, it's like, oh, I know what happened.
Yeah.
So I beat the film, but only by like 30 seconds. I was like, oh, I know, but I didn't.
Well,
I didn't.
I
Call it in
actually
advance.
I actually called it when he was giving her the plan of what was going to happen.
Oh, really?
I actually
Fuck.
called it there
Oh,
because I lean over to Mare and I'm like, "You watch,"
All right,
because
I'm-
what happens is what happened in that
No, no, no.
scene. Without
No, no.
I won't give anything away.
Don't give anything away.
I won't give anything away. But what happens in the scene where he's giving her the plan, I lean over to Mare, and she says, she says, "Oh, okay. I think it's going to go like this," and I go, "I think it's going to go like this." I go, "Doesn't my ending sound much better?" And she's like, "Yeah, it really does." And then that's how it ended. I
Now-
called it when he was giving her the plan.
Here's something I got to give the film credit for but this is something that, like, when you have Ryan Reynolds at the point in time where he's like the A-list, and Gyllenhaal's in the film too, yes, but he's not A-list. I mean, like, he's doing great stuff.
It's almost like he was in the middle of doing Deadpool, and he's like, "I can only give you a half hour."
Right, but at the same time, but like, he was still that hot,
Oh yeah.
and they were like, all right, we're gonna kill him like in the first half hour.
Right.
Oh, sorry, spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. Well, if you don't see it coming, then you shouldn't be watching film.
Yeah,
Period.
There's a really early point where you realize he's not the hero.
Well, you see it in the trailer. If you watch the trailer, you'll notice that Ryan Reynolds
Nope.
is not the hero.
And that's one of those things about, like, you and I and people out there who are active film viewers and who are thinking they're into film. And you know, I turn my brain off during films a lot too. I'm not criticizing. But
Oh, yeah. I love not knowing what's going to happen. I hate it when I figure it out before, though.
Yeah, but
It didn't take away the ending for me from Life, because when I talked to Mare about it, I said that would make a great ending, and that's exactly how it ended, and I was
don't
very
mind-
happy.
I don't mind when I figure it out in advance based on the film itself. It's when I figure it out in advance because of, like, an advertisement or a trailer or a review. That's when I feel cheated.
Or
But
a tweet.
right, but if I'm watching the film, and I will chastise her for that. Don't you worry.
Please
But
do.
when-
Please
But when
do.
I'm watching the actual film and I get a point and I'm like, I know what happens, I don't feel guilty because that's the film.
Yeah.
Either either failing or succeeding, depending on, you know, what they're trying to do. I mean, and I'm very honest about that stuff. I'm not like some people who say, "Oh, I knew who Kaiser Sose was from the beginning." You're a fucking liar. Shut up.
We knew someone that said that.
Yes, and he, you know, but yeah, shut the fuck up.
But overall, I did enjoy the film Life. I enjoyed the ending very thoroughly. I thought that was a great ending.
It was.
Let's put it this way. It's better than just about every space film that has come out probably in the last few years.
Well, you know what? And that's the main thing, too. The concept, if you just break it down to the basic concept, a bunch of people in a spaceship being hunted down one by an alien, you're like, all right, yeah, like, I haven't seen that shit before. But they don't necessarily find a new twist, but they just present it in a way that's entertaining and feels original to an extent.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
they get the claustrophobia down. They get the alien. It's got a form, but it's got even somewhat of a face, but it's done in such a way that it's more menacing because you actually don't really know what it exactly looks like. You get like a general shape of it, but it's almost like, because it's floating in space, it's almost liquidy, but it's not.
Right.
It has a full form, and that kind of makes it more fucking scary.
And you know what? I mean, as I'm getting older and I'm surrounded by people at work who have never used a typewriter and had never used like a 5.5-inch floppy disk,
Right.
there's a part of me that like has to acknowledge that these films that are coming out now aren't for me.
Yeah.
They're for the kids they're for the young people out there who haven't watched. I'm not old enough to call people under 30 kids yet, but people who haven't seen Aliens, or like at least like Alien, or didn't grow up with it.
Right.
You know, so like they know that this plot is out there, Just like we knew these plots were out there from 50s horror films, but we didn't experience them until we watched The Thing or Alien or things like this.
Right.
So,
Right.
I mean, we're hitting an age where we have to let go of some of the things we know and say, hey, you know what? I know that, but these fucking idiots don't. Let them enjoy it. Let them enjoy it for the first time.
Well, that's the thing. That's why, well, at least I am. I know you're a little less. I'm pretty big on not giving away a spoiler, even if it's from, say, a film that's 30, 40 years old. Because
depends on the spoiler. Depends on the spoiler.
It does depend on the spoiler, but I rarely agree with giving it away unless we say it well in advance. Like, okay, we're spoiling this film. We're talking about it.
Okay, I apologize about the Ryan Reynolds thing. I didn't mean to do it. It slipped out.
That's not a big deal. That is a very small, very, very small spoiler.
Again, if you're paying attention, you know he's not the headliner of the movie. So
right. Well, you see in the trailer that it's like in the trailer, you know he's not making it.
Don't watch the trailer.
I'm just saying, if you watch the trailer, it's very apparent.
This guy at work today, he just turned 30, and I overheard him say, someone asked him about the new Star Wars trailer. He's like, yeah, I don't want to watch it because I don't want to ruin anything. And I was like, good on you. You know now what I know now. Don't watch the fucking trailers. Don't, because they destroy it. I haven't watched the new Star Wars trailer. All I know is I heard two things: the new Star Wars trailer's out, and the director already said that the Star Wars trailer spoils it. Yeah, welcome to my world. I've grown up with this shit. Deal with it now, motherfucker.
I don't know if then I know what he's alluding to. I know what he's alluding to, and you know what?
I finish this bottle tonight. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I know what he's alluding to, and it's something that has to happen because of a certain somebody. That's all I'll get. That's all I'll say.
Oh, say no more.
Yeah. But if they're going to do what I think they're going to do, then it's ballsy. So that's cool.
But yeah, Life. I agree with you. It was a decent horror, sci-fi horror film.
Yeah.
And again, like all these, if you go, like it's probably listed as sci-fi. There are a lot of sci-fis that are really horror. Alien,
right,
and all of its predecessors, they are horror films.
Yes, they are.
But they are firmly listed as sci-fi.
And you can add sci-fi, but only after horror.
But what I'm saying is, there's
if you're
Blade Runner.
Right, that's sci-fi.
And can I briefly say, with all this hype coming out with the new Blade Runner film, I've said repeatedly in the past that I'm not a fan of the Blade Runner movie.
You have said that.
I'm slurring a bit. I apologize.
That's okay.
But I do have to point out something that occurred to me today.
Although the new Blade Runner film did okay at the box office over the weekend. It only did $30 million.
But I heard it's getting good reviews.
It's getting very good reviews. It's Denis Villeneuve, the guy that did Arrival and he did Hostages.
Oh.
That he's a very good director.
Well, all I wanted to say is just to give credit where credit's due. While I may not care for a lot of the devices in Blade Runner, and I personally hate over melodramatic sci-fi, Blade Runner at the time is very important because Blade Runner us looking at now at like the cyberpunk type of film.
Right. It set the stage.
No one had ever done that before on that level.
Right.
I mean, you had sci-fi, but we were talking about like a cyberpunk sci-fi blend that had never been done on that level in cinema.
Well, even Philip K. Dick, he said that he was very impressed at what they could do with Blade Runner.
Now, granted, he was probably on acid at the time.
Probably. Well, and the thing is, too, Philip K. Dick, he is quoted as saying, "It's exactly how I envisioned it in my books." And Ridley Scott is on quote saying, "Yeah, I never read any of that stuff." So,
which proves two things. Which proves two things. Philip K. Dick was a fucking genius, and Ridley Scott can suck my fucking taint.
Somebody read probably Philip K. Dick's material and said, "Yeah, this is how it should look." And Ridley Scott was like, "Okay, let's do it like that."
You know, I really hate the arrogance of like a director or who's like looks at the source materials like, it didn't bother. Fuck you. Yeah. Really? At least pretend to give a shit. I and anyway, but yeah, I agree with you. Life was I'd watch it. It's definitely 20 times better than fucking Gravity. I'll give you that.
And I don't think it didn't do well enough that it could garner a sequel. But I'd love
no,
to. I'd
no
love.
way.
I would like to see what they could do
Why?
with a sequel.
Why? No, I can't say
If it's half as enjoyable as the first film,
No.
the way it ends, it could be an interesting sequel.
No, I totally disagree.
Listen, I'm not asking for one, but I would see it.
Totally disagree. That's one of those films that just leave it alone. It wasn't great. It was very good.
Yeah.
It was shot well. I liked it. Great performances. Leave it the fuck alone. No, that's it. Done.
Leave it alone.
All right. So for mine, I'm gonna go back to the 70s.
Okay.
Now I just recently watched this film. I'm gonna plug rifftracks.com. You want to go to rifftracks.com.
Okay.
And this is a horror. Technically, it's a horror film from the 70s, 1977, called Day of the Animals.
Day of the Animals. Okay, never heard of that.
Okay, no, of course you haven't. I never heard of it until RiffTrax did it.
Really?
Grab the RiffTrax copy. It's probably like $10. It's fucking worth it. Now, the basic plot is this is the 70s, so we're still talking about this is when for those of you who weren't around in the 70s, this is when we first started worrying about like the ozone and shit like that. So the basic plot of this is a group of people are going on a paid wilderness tour of a mountain. You know, like a 3-day hike, 4-day hike kind of thing.
Okay.
They have to helicopter them in, and then they have to hike up the mountain, and then they're going to helicopter them out again. And during this, there's these weird ozone issues that are occurring. And what happens is the ozone malfunctions over this mountain.
Right.
And then as you get closer to the mountain, the animals just become vicious and start attacking people at random.
Jeez. Okay.
It's kind of like Food of the Gods without the food. So now, the only reason that this film is worthy of you going out and grabbing $10 for it, besides the riff tracks, which are fucking hilarious, is that Leslie Nielsen is in the film.
Oh God.
Leslie Nielsen. This is back in the days before he was doing comedy. He plays an ad exec that's on the tour, and he immediately becomes the heavy because he keeps making Indian jokes to like their American native tour guide.
Okay.
like Kimosabi type jokes, really fucking bad.
Oh no.
And then once things start turning south, when the animals first start attacking, he starts calling the leader Hotshot like every 5 fucking seconds. Like, Hotshot here doesn't have a problem. What's up with Hotshot? Listen, Hotshot doesn't have it. It's just, and the riff tracks make it even better. But even without the riff tracks, so what happens? It gets to the point where Leslie Nielsen like challenges the head of the tour guy. He's like, "Listen, we're going up the mountain." And the tour guy said, "We should go down the mountain." He's like, well, Hotshot, you don't think we should go down the mountain? But I'm here. I think Hotshot's wrong. We should go up the mountain. What do you think about that, Hotshot? And so he leads this limited group of people up the mountain, and by the time on the way from middle of the mountain to back to the top of the mountain, he kills the football star, rapes the girl, bullies the boy, bare-chested, screams like shouts down God, and then finally like the whole thing ends when he decides to wrestle a grizzly bear. It's fucking awesome. If you ever wanted to see Leslie Nielsen kill a man, rape a woman, curse God, and then wrestle a grizzly bear bare-chested the entire time, this is the film for you.
Oh my God.
It's fucking great. Even without the riff tracks, it's fucking awesome. But definitely go to rifftracks.com. We are not getting paid for this. I wish. And download Day of the Animals. I guarantee it's $10 or $12. It's worth the fucking download.
Oh man!
It's fucking great. I don't even know where the film's available outside of RiffTrax. I'm sure Netflix or somebody has it, but that's all I have to say about that film.
So what you're telling me is this is the very next film we should show at our outdoor bad movie day.
I don't know. I mean, with the riff tracks or without the riff tracks?
I would do with the riff tracks.
Oh well, with the riff tracks, people would, it's just it's great
No, you know what? We would do it without the riff tracks.
without
It's better without it because we would make our own commentary.
Yes, we would, and everybody, yeah. But it's definitely a contender. It's a great fucking bad '70s movie. With an eye towards the environment, which is nice. So I had to throw that one out there. What do you got, sir?
Well, I think I'm going to go with a classic. Here, let me mark this as we talked about that.
Day of the Animals was a classic.
No, I'm talking about an actual horror classic. It's a Cronenberg film, and I think
Yes. Can I guess?
You're probably not going to get it, but go ahead.
Can I guess?
Yes,
The Brood.
it is not The Brood.
God damn it! All right, go ahead.
Okay, I'm actually going to go a little bit more mainstream. Probably the most mainstream horror film he ever did. Probably the most successful
Wait.
mainstream horror
Hold
film
on
he
a
ever
second.
did.
Hold on a second. Please tell me you're not doing.
Oh, Dead
can't-
Ringers? You're thinking of Dead Ringers? It's not Dead Ringers.
I'm not thinking Dead Ringers. Which, by the way, like Holly mentioned once, is like I've never seen that. I was like, oh, I've got a copy. We still haven't watched it. I should make her watch it this weekend. Thanks for reminding me.
It's good, but it's boring. It's a boring film. Anyway, it's Cronenberg's The Fly. Jeff Goldblum.
Fly. Okay.
Yeah. What were you thinking?
I like
Videodrome or?
I was thinking the fucking Clive Barker movie.
Nightbreed.
Nightbreed.
Oh God, no.
You said mainstream. I was thinking it doesn't get.
Well, no. When I said that, I said David Cronenberg's, meaning he directed it. So.
Oh, okay. He didn't direct Nightbreed.
No, Clive Barker directed Nightbreed.
That fucking hack. Okay. Go ahead.
Well, anyway, it's a remake of the 50s film The Fly, but it's got a much more modernized take on it.
For those millennials listening,
Yeah.
This is before the term reboot was invented. So it was technically just a remake, not a reboot
it was
of
a remake.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now,
although it is it's a remake, kind of insinuates that it has something to do with the original film.
Reboot. I always thought I really feel like reboot means a restart to a franchise.
That is true.
Technically, you could use with The Fly because there was a Fly 2.
There was a Fly.
Wasn't
2.
there?
Oh, you mean the Vincent Price film?
Yeah, wasn't there a Fly 2? I'm almost positive there was.
It might have been called The Return of the Fly. I don't think it was called The Fly 2, but yeah, we could look that up real quick.
It's not going to be quick, so you go ahead and start with your Brundlefly.
Brundlefly! The quote that the quote that I have on my email for work has been the same one since the first day I started there. And the quote is, "Computers are dumb, they only know what you tell them," which is Seth Brundle, which is played by Jeff Goldblum. That's one of the lines that he has after the umpteenth test that he does on his transportation machines fails, and Gina Davis is filming him because she meets him at a party and finds him fascinating and wants to do a piece on him for, I don't think they say the magazine, but it's supposed to be important, like say a Time or a New Yorker or something along those lines. And,
Rolling Stone.
yeah, not Rolling Stone, but yes.
Real quick.
Yeah.
Real quick. Yes, Return to the Fly in 1959, Vincent Price. So there
Okay.
was a sequel. So yeah, so technically even though back then it was called a remake, we can technically call it a reboot, especially since they did a sequel to that one. So it was a reboot of the franchise. So
That's
yes.
right.
That's right. Sorry. Please continue.
Anyway, so she's filming him, and he has that line. But his whole thing, he's a scientist.
Hey, hold on. Let me break
What?
in. The only other line that I remember, there's two iconic lines from that film. One is him with the computer line.
Yeah.
The other one is, "I'm getting better."
No, that's The Fly 2. That's Eric
No.
Stoltz.
No, that's the first Fly.
Oh,
That is the
so
first
that's right. Okay.
That's right. I feel like you're getting worse. No, I'm getting better.
Well, Eric Stoltz does the same exact line in The Fly too.
Don't give a shit. It's
No. But you're right. It is from the first one, but he does the same. I'm watching the scene that's on in the background, the Lost and Found videotape.
Oh no!
It's the woman. It's the scene where they're crushing grapes, and they're having like this contest of who can crush more grapes, and the one woman says stop, and then she tries to crush grapes a little bit more, and then tries to step out of the barrel and falls on her chest, and just goes hurt, 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 like trying to breathe. It's hilarious. She hurts herself, and it's funny. Anyway.
Wow.
Anyway. Wow.
Jeff Goldblum.
So Jeff Goldblum. So Eric Stoltz has the same line, and it's near the end of the film where they're in the hotel and he's transforming, and she says, "You're getting worse," and he goes and he pulls out like a piece of his eye, and it exposes like a fly eye. He goes, "No, I'm getting better."
You know, I saw The Fly 2 in the theater, and I don't remember that scene. All I remember is they killed a dog.
That is still, to this day, one of the most traumatic things I've ever seen. When I watch what?
Really?
When I watch the film, I make myself watch it, even though I would prefer just to fast forward through it.
Why?
I don't like when the dog gets all fucked up, and then later on where he kills the dog in the most humane way possible, because it's basically being tortured to death.
See, the weird thing with me is when I watch the film, I realize it's not a real dog.
No, I know that, but when the dog is just so happy to see him, and it's wagging its tail, or what's left of a tail, and it's just so happy to see him, and then he kills it, and it makes me so sad.
It died happy. What the fuck do you want?
It died happy. Yeah.
It's,
Sets up a good ending, though.
I'm going to say real quick, and you mentioned that, if there's one thing that's annoying me more these days, is people posting about their sick or dying animals on fucking Facebook.
Yeah.
For the love of Christ, please, keep it in your house. I don't care that your dog's dying, and I can't do anything about it. Don't tell me your dog's dying. Just let it fucking die.
Oh, God.
I'm sorry. One of my coworkers missed a day of work because their cat died, and no judgment, but in the back of my head, I'm like, I watched two friends die in the past 2 years. Just fucking just come in 2 hours late. What the fuck?
Yeah, right.
It's me at the much point in my life, has nothing to do with anybody else. I'm not saying I'm right. But Jesus, like every time I turn on Facebook right now, oh, please, thoughts and prayers for Fluffy, who's recovering from the operation. Oh, great, your dog has diabetes. I don't give a shit. Just post a meme about Trump and move the fuck on. Come on.
Well, that's all Facebook is now. It's cooking, recipes, Trump, pets, and that's it.
Guess which one that offends me the least. I'm always ready for new cooking recipes.
Yeah.
Although I hate these ones where it's just a video of them cooking real fast. It's like 5 eggs, do this, do that. Now put it in there. So hold on, slow the fuck down. Can you give me a list? What's with this video shit nonstop? Just give me a list.
It's too fucking stylized.
Oh, somebody with too much fucking time on their hands and like a camera. Just oh wow, just it's a 3-step recipe while you're filming it and speeding it up.
Have you seen the new ones where it's an overhead shot? I mean, that's a lot of them, but it's an overhead shot.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
Well, no, I'm talking about a different style that they're using in the overhead shots now. So it's like they'll show the ingredients in the bowl and they'll snap their fingers and it'll just be a split-second shot to it all mixed up already.
Oh, fuck you.
Right, so it'll be like 3 eggs. It'll show 3 eggs in a bowl, snap their fingers, and it's all whisked and everything. And then it'll say, add sour cream, snap their fingers, and it's all incorporated.
Witchcraft!
Right, and then it'll say, temper this into the eggs, and then snap their fingers, and it's done.
So basically, I can't be bothered to even show you me doing the fucking work.
Right.
Ah,
Those are starting to emerge a little more often.
dude, staring down the barrel of 50, all I can imagine is what the fuck's it gonna be like in 20 years?
I don't know, man. You know what? Yesterday was my son's birthday, and that is the most that I've probably Facebooked in the last 3 months.
Birthday gifts on the way, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
To me, I'm gonna have to give it to you. Their fucking forwarding address thing was a pain in the ass, so I just sent it here.
No issues, sir.
You'll have it.
That is the most that I've Facebooked or tweeted or just done any kind of social media in like 3 months. And I just wished my son a happy birthday. I showed a video of when he was turned 1. And I showed a video of my son's in these Batman masks that my son got 2 of for his birthday by accident. And both of my kids have them. And they're telling me that they love me. And their voices are, because the new Batman, he has the voice activation.
I love you, Dad.
Right.
Dad, I love you.
And the only thing I kept thinking was Evil Dead 2. And that's why my post says, last I checked, I didn't have a fruit cellar, but I'll check again.
Join us. Join us.
Somebody's in my fruit cellar. So that's all I kept thinking. Nobody got it except for you. But
of course.
Yeah. I mean, there are people that are liking my video with the fruit cellar line. It's like they don't know why they're liking it. They just know that they're liking it.
Dude, today was a weird day at work because usually people talk politics and shit, and I avoid it because I don't want to get in fights.
Sure.
But today, everything came up was movie related, so I was like, oh, I'm in. And like this one person there was like, like Stephen King came up, but I was like, oh, well, Maximum Overdrive. So I'd never seen that. So you got to be shitting me. It's like the ultimate bad '80s film. You've got to see that. It's awesome. and it was, and then somebody else was like Evil Dead 2. Is like, oh, yeah, that was a bad film. It's like, no, that was a great film. What are you fucking talking about? You got to go back and watch. But then he like this guy's my age. He's like. Right. I mentioned, he's like, yeah, all I remember is like Evil Dead 3 came out and Army of Darkness came out and it had no relation to the second film. So what are you talking about? It's a direct sequel.
Yeah. It picks up exactly where it leaves off in Evil Dead 2. It picks up
exactly where. And I had to explain to him how they had the recaps at the beginning. It's like if you cut the recap off and you put them all together, it's one long film, which I keep meaning to do, but I never get around to. Although I did get around to my first...
It's bookended.
Yeah, but I did get around tonight to my first Rick and Morty ringtone.
Oh, nice. Which one is it?
Pickle Rick! Have you even gotten that far yet?
No.
Pickle Rick? Oh, that Pickle Rick, hands down, one of my favorite episodes.
I have to...
You get to Pickle Rick. When you get to the episode where you see Pickle Rick, just fucking strap yourself in because it's one of the best fucking episodes. Bar none. Pickle Rick all the way.
Pickle Rick. God.
I'm sorry, but The Fly.
The Fly, yes. Well, anyway, Seth Brundle, he's an inventor of these transportation pods. And he can't get it working correctly, but he's getting there. So he meets Gina Davis at a party, and she finds him fascinating. And then they end up sleeping together and becoming a couple. But one of his experiments, he finally, after sending in like a monkey and it turns itself inside fucking out, and he sends in a steak and all of these things, he finally figures out the problem. So he goes through, except the fly is caught in the pod with him, and he feels amazing when he comes out on the other end. But the reason is because he absorbed the fly and slowly starts turning into a fly. Genetically, he's completely altered at that point. And it's a slow transition, but, it goes through the entire film to get there. What a great fucking horror movie.
It's a great remake.
Yeah.
It gives it just as much serious. It didn't try to let's play campy. It took it and tried to modernize it, but in a good way, where it actually added to it. Now, one thing that like intrigues me is whenever character names are changed, and in the first original film in 1958, the character's name was Andre Delambre.
Okay.
I might be mispronouncing it because I haven't watched the film in a while. But so my thought is, where the fuck did they come up with Brundle?
Oh, Seth Brundle. I don't know.
And
Brundlefly.
I mean, Cronenberg has a screenwriting credit because he probably did toy with it. But I don't know if the other screenwriter, which was Charles Edward Pogue, had anything to say about it.
It's based on the George Langland short story.
Well, yeah, but so was the original film.
The original film was based on the George Langland?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. This is one of those things, too, where you could argue, and this is where it gets foggy. Is it a reboot or a remake, or is it another adaptation?
I think, it's got to be the adaptation. It's just like The Thing compared to, it's closer to the
source material?
Yes.
Have you read the source material?
No, and that's
you have
one.
No fucking idea.
No. Well, we've talked about it, and you have read the source material, so I
have not.
What are you talking about?
I've never. You're thinking of a different. You're thinking of something else. I've never read the original short story.
Oh well.
I've never.
All right, then I've read it somewhere that Who Goes There, which is the original short story.
No.
Which is
all right.
What?
Stop.
What?
Who Goes There is the original short story for The Thing.
That's what I'm talking about.
We're talking about The Fly.
Yeah, but I'm comparing it to what you said about the adaptation.
Dude, you're confusing the shit out of me.
All right, I'm sorry.
I'm talking about The Fly. I've never loved The Fly. I'm knee deep in The Fly, dude.
Well, you said that, is it an adaptation? And then that's when I kind of changed gears real quickly, saying that I would compare it
without informing me.
Yes, I said it. You've had way too much whiskey.
I think you just are not communicating what you're the sidestep because you sidestep.
No, I said when you said an adaptation, I said
if we were
then.
Dancing right now, if we were dancing right now, you'd be off somewhere to the right, and I'd still be spinning towards the audience.
Yeah, I'd have my hands at my hip with my head down.
Exactly.
Just trying to figure out what is happening right now.
And I'd be like, "He's supposed to catch me. He's supposed to catch me." Yeah.
But when you said adaptation, I said, well, then I'm going to go to The Thing.
Now I know. Now that you've actually laid out the steps you took in your head.
I already said I already said it. I'm sorry you missed it.
Hold on. And just to clarify, I've never read Who Goes There either.
Well, we've talked about it, and I've read that The Thing is closer to Who Goes There than The Thing from Outer Space.
Oh, no doubt. But I've never read either of them, so right. I don't know.
That's what I'm going to go with. I'm going to go with the adaptation, just like The Thing is closer to the source material of Who Goes There, whereas this is probably closer to the source material.
You know what? Now, I have to read both of them, and I will report next episode my findings.
Okay. Yeah, they're short stories. What are they, like 50 to 100 pages?
If I can find them on Kindle or something, yeah. No problem. But I'll source that out for you, and I'll let you know whether we're right or wrong.
Okay.
But no, The Fly with Jeff Goldblum.
Fly is great. One of my favorite Cronenberg films, possibly my favorite. Could that be my favorite? It could be my favorite.
No, The Thing is your favorite.
No, Cronenberg. Carpenter did The Thing.
Cronenberg. No, Videodrome is your favorite. Long Live the New Flesh.
No, I do love Videodrome.
The Brood. Cronenberg, come on.
I do love The Brood.
The Brood is fucking awesome.
But as a cinematic masterpiece, I think I might go The Thing. It's got everything. Not The Thing. The Fly. It's got. Well, even though The Thing is probably the best horror film ever made, and I know that's cliche, but as far as horror goes, The Thing is pretty much a perfect horror film.
Here's a problem with Cronenberg as far as choosing the best of.
Okay.
He has a lot of iconic films. Just real quick, I'm not counting Rabid because that's early stuff and
that's very early.
It's a bit obscure. Have you ever seen Rabid?
You know, I want to.
recommend it.
I'm gonna say no, but I bet it's one of those films that once I start watching it, it'd be like, yeah, I've seen this.
No. Rab is one of those films that if you've seen it, you know you've seen it.
Fine, then I've never seen it.
Okay,
I have it. I have it. I just never
Oh,
got
you do?
around to it then.
All right, but I still wouldn't say like as far as top favorites. But I mean, he did Videodrome,
Yep.
Scanners,
Scanners. Love Scanners.
The Dead Zone.
Dead Zone. That was a very mainstream film for him.
Yeah.
Stephen King.
The Fly,
The Fly.
Naked Lunch.
Love Naked Lunch.
See, so I mean, that's pretty
But
much.
but
that's
Naked Lunch really isn't a horror film. If I was going
Yeah.
purely on Cronenberg's
Yeah.
horror stuff, I think I might go The Fly.
Okay, well, all right. Ignore that one I just did.
Okay.
Now, as far as horror films, I just named what 3 or 4.
Mm-hmm.
4, and they're all iconic, and they're all kind of groundbreaking in their own way.
Yeah.
He's really hard to nail down for a best film. And then when you get into his what you may call, from a literary sense, contemporary films,
Oh, like a History of Violence and Eastern Promises.
Crash,
Crash. Yep.
right there, 3 great fucking Existence.
Well, that was kind of like he was trying to go into his roots a little bit, and he made an okay film.
No, that wasn't him going to roots. That was him like, yeah, I could do Videodrome again. That's all that was, and and it falls short of doing it.
How is that not going to his roots? It's something that he's done before.
But Videodrome's not his roots. It's just one of the films he did. That's not like when we say Rob Zombie went back to his roots with 31. That's because like the first 2 or 3 films he did were these fucking psycho slasher killer films.
Well, yeah.
Cronenberg, The Brood, Scanners, Videodrome, Dead Zone, The Fly. All iconic films, all of them vastly different in almost every single way. They're different aspects of the same genre. That's why it's so hard to nail him down. Comparing Videodrome to Scanners,
You can't even do it.
and then throw The Brood in there, or was The Fly?
Fly.
They're all.
That's why I've always liked Cronenberg. I would say I like Cronenberg. Whew, man, you know what? Maybe not. Well, if I'm going back and forth between Cronenberg and Carpenter, it's like maybe one day I like Carpenter more, maybe one day I like Cronenberg more. But as a whole, Cronenberg is still making good movies.
That's what I was going to say.
You know,
Cronenberg
Carpenter is kind of done. He's done.
Yeah, Cronenberg may like have dips and levels, but he's still doing decent shit.
Yeah.
Cronenberg, Carpenter, he should have stopped just before Ghost of Mars.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, right before Ghost of Mars was Vampires. If that was the last thing he ever did, it would have been like fine, good.
Vampires. If that was the last thing he ever did, it would have been like, oh, he dropped off a little at the end, but was still entertaining.
Right. And
you know, that was the last time I liked James Woods. So.
Yeah. Ghost of Mars, which Roger Ebert gave thumbs up, by the way. I don't know why, but he did.
Hey, every critic is going to have the odd film. We have it too. I mean, you with your Fifth Element. What the fuck's that about?
There was an HBO comedy. It might have been not necessarily the news, but it was a sketch comedy show, so it probably wasn't that. But it was a sketch comedy show, and it was Siskel and Ebert, but it was 2 actors portraying them, and they're going into the bathroom and they're talking about the films they reviewed, and they're just giving each other shit, and then Siskel goes over to Ebert and he goes, "I can't fucking believe you gave Hot to Trot a thumbs up." It's just one of the things that I just remember so vividly from this sketch comedy. I don't remember the sketch comedy show, but I remember that.
A lovable performer.
John Candy really brings it home in Hot to Trot, if you ask me, as the voice of the horse.
Oh, the voice. That's right, the voice. Okay,
he's the voice of the horse. Yes,
I own it, but it's been a while since I actually watched it.
Yeah.
You know what? I have to say, just briefly.
Yes.
November we should be, since October's all horror films. I think we should try to angle November towards the Scott versus Joey episodes.
Oh, okay.
I think it's about time we like rehashed Fifth Element and Daybreakers and things of that nature, or even Undead.
Oh God, yeah, we could do that. Yeah, we could do that.
But all right, I'm going to bring up a film now.
Okay.
And
Is this going to be the last one for the night? Because we're going long.
Sure, we can do that.
Okay.
This is another oldie.
What do you got?
Gotta find the actual title first. Tales from. Cause I just watch. No, shit.
What was the other film? Day of the Animals, and then what was the other film that you brought to the show? Or is this your second film?
This is my second film.
Fine, good, because this obviously I need it for the synopsis.
Shit, I can't find this one. I wonder if it's under a different name now.
Should I be doing the outro music then?
No. I'm gonna find this because I just watched it like 3 nights ago. But it was on my Plex. I hold on, I can find it. Give me a second.
Can you give me an actor, or is it not?
Oh no, yes, Peter Cushing. Peter Cushing's in it.
It's not Wolfen, is it?
Wolfen? Where the fuck do you get Wolfen with Peter Cushing?
Oh no, that's not Peter Cushing.
Please tell me what you were thinking of.
I was thinking of Wolfen, but it wasn't Peter Cushing. It's what's his face?
Oh, here we go. I had the title.
Christopher Lee. But
Christopher Lee.
He's not in Wolfen either.
What the fuck?
And then I don't know why I thought Wolfen. Oh no, it's what's his face? The fuck is his name? What's his name? Oh god, it's gonna bother me. No, I'm gonna look it up. What's his name? Albert Finney.
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm not telling you. All right, this is.
We're
going back to the.
I got it.
Now, last episode, I brought up one of the newer horror anthologies, Holidays.
You did. Yeah, I will watch that.
Now we're going back to the roots, back to the 70s when like the anthology horror films like first really took hold.
Okay.
We're talking Tales of the Crypt time period. All right?
Got it.
This one's called From Beyond the Grave.
From Beyond the Grave. Okay.
Same concept. 4 short horror tales, but they're interwoven into an encompassing bookend of this. All of the stories are intertwined. In this case, this is basically a precursor to Needful Things. Peter Cushing owns an antique shop, and if you buy from his antique shop and in some way rip him off, you're gonna die.
Oh.
And if you don't rip him off, you might die. It's up in the air.
You could still die.
There's always, if you buy anything from his shop, you're possibly gonna die. But if you steal it or barter him down to a price that he shouldn't be at, or swap price tags when he's not looking, you're gonna fucking die. All right. So it's called From the Grave. It's from Beyond the Grave, 1974. Peter Cushing owns an antique shop, and Peter Cushing is looking really fucking like there's no makeup involved. He just looking bad.
And this is like 40-something years ago.
Well,
how old is Peter Cushing at this point? Is he in his 70s or 80s?
Oh, you're gonna make me look up his birth date?
Yeah.
Hang on. Hang on. Now, what year was Star Wars?
77.
77. This is 74. Peter Cushing was born in 1913.
Oh God! So wow, he's only 64 years old.
All right, so maybe they used a bit of makeup. He looks fucking bad in this. He looks better in Star Wars than he did in this. So maybe a little bit of makeup was involved.
Wait,
he died
1913, and this came out in 74, right?
Yes.
So he's only 61.
Right, but then he was in Star Wars, bitch slapping fucking Vader.
Yep.
A few years later, and he looked much better.
He looked much. Okay.
He died in 94.
Jesus Christ! He died 20 years later, almost.
Yeah, 94.
So yeah, that would have put him in his 80s.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. So he runs the shop now. The first person that comes into his shop is Um, David Warner,
Okay.
the Waxworks guy,
Yep.
also from the original Wicker Man,
And
also from
Time Bandits.
Time Bandits. Yes, that's a
Yep.
classic. Also, he's the child.
Tron.
Tron. He's not Master Blaster. He's like the Master Database.
Yep.
What is he called in that?
Fuck if I remember.
Oh, is it Master something, right?
I can look it up real quick.
My favorite though is he's the child molester from Straw Dogs.
Oh God, that's right.
Always put that on your resume. I was a child molester in a Sam Peckinpah film. Bam! Instant credits. The Master Database.
Master Control Program.
Master Control. He was Master Control, right?
Master
yes.
Control.
So he's
Blaster.
He's one of those British actors that's been in like enough mainstream American films that you recognize him no matter what. So the first of 4 stories, he barters down a mirror. So that ends up involving a seance where the mirror makes him kill women. And then the end result of that is he ends up in the mirror, and then they flash forward and he, fill in the gaps. Not too much there.
Right.
That whole sequence, 50% of it is David Warner waking up scared, covered in blood. Ah! And the other half of the episode is David Warner begging not to have to kill another woman.
Doesn't he get decapitated in The Omen as well?
Was that him?
I want to say that was him.
Dude, I hate the minute. The Omen, I've never watched it beginning to end.
I watched that the first time I ever watched that was with Gerard, and Gerard was just giggling when he gets decapitated. He couldn't stop giggling.
I remember I have a collection. I forget what it's called, but I have a collection of Harlan Ellison's magazine articles, and he has one where he saw The Omen in the theater,
right?
And he just
David Warner still alive.
Oh, of course, he's fucking immortal. But like Harlan Ellison, whiny bitch, fucking complaining about how horrible like the violence was in the film. It's like, and he talks through like that whole scene with the beheading. It's like, and it's bouncing down the stairs, and it's still continuing. And I stood up in the theater, is like, what is this? It's like, sit your whiny ass bitch down and write another fucking cheesy like hippie sci-fi flick, you motherfucker.
Yep. He's in The Omen. Yes, he does get decapitated in The Omen. You
know what? I will make sure I watch The Omen all the way through before the next episode. That's my homework. I should have. I don't know how I reached this age and I haven't watched it all the way through, but I will. But again, it's one of those films where you grow up and you hear all about it, so you already know the film. Why watch it?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. But Harlan Ellison was really like that was his whole like anti-horror film thing. Anyway, what's the point? Why do you have to show the head?
Fuck him.
Harlan. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
That's why you have that whole like lovers of Harlan, haters of Harlan thing. Who's the comedian? The short pudgy guy.
The short pudgy guy?
From what? He's in the movie. He's in the new MST3Ks. I'm slightly drunk, so I'm having trouble remembering his name.
Oh,
you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. It's
what's your excuse?
Yeah, my excuse is I got like 3 different names in my head.
It begins with he's fucking Ratatouille.
Yeah, and he's the narrator in the TV show The Goldbergs, and
fuck is that?
It's a comedy show on ABC.
Patton Oswalt. Yeah, Patton Oswalt said it when he was introducing a panel of MST3K stars. He summed it up best. He said, well, one of the true encompassing moments that explained the fascination with MST3K was this episode of Mitchell, where this guy with sunglasses is being booked in a police station, And the real quick riff that happens is they walk in, and I forget who says it, but someone says, "Hey, they're arresting Harlan Ellison," and someone else said, "Good." That sums it up right there. It's like you really it's he's one of those guys, and I understand totally why when you read his articles on that shit. But anyway, sidetrack. From Beyond the Grave. So that's the first episode. David Warren, right?
You said
David Warner. David
Yes.
Warner. Yeah, David Warner buys a mirror. Mirror makes him kill girls and then puts them in the mirror, and then later on he'll have to make other people kill girls, etc. Then the second episode was hang on. Episode 2 was An Act of Kindness. Oh, so the second one is this milquetoast guy steals a here's a summation. He steals a medal from the antique shop to impress Donald Pleasance the beggar.
My.
And then eventually gets invited to their house where Donald Pleasance's sister performs witchcraft. And long story short, the whole thing there was because his child prayed that his parents would die. Take what you want from that. All I have to say is Donald Pleasance is a fucking gem.
Saves it, huh?
Donald Pleasance has almost top billing in this fucking film, and like when you watch it, it's just fucking. Donald Pleasance is fucking awesome. Anything Donald Pleasance.
I love Donald Pleasance.
Oh, I love me some Donald Pleasance. So the third episode is The Elemental, and there's a British guy switches the tags on his snuff boxes. So the snuff box he buys ends up putting an elemental demon on his shoulder, which tries to kill his wife. He calls a witch that he met on the train from the antique store, who solves the issue, but she doesn't really do it because you switch tags, you're gonna fucking die. And then the fourth episode is a writer buys a door, which opens up into the room of an ancient writer who Lovecraftian-wise wanted to trap souls. Long story short, they destroy the door, everybody's happy.
No, okay. Well, good.
And then at the end, this pickpocket you keep seeing through, this thief you keep seeing all through the film, tries to rob the antique store. Guess how that goes?
Oh, I bet it doesn't go well.
Does not go well at all. Not at all. And then, yeah. So it's that's really good. It's just one of those classic 70s horror film anthologies. I mean, I don't know if it's better or worse than Tales from the Crypt or any of the other ones, but it's one of them.
Well,
I will say the snuff box episode, the third one is the most boring one of all, because they take the whole exorcism of the demon.
right.
Like they take, it's like the whole joke is that the woman's putting his hands on the uptight British guy while shit flies around them, and that's the joke. But the joke goes on for 5 fucking minutes. And like Holly, the whole film, that's the one part Holly's like, "This is killing me. What's taking so long?" It's like, hold on, you made it all the way through Donald Pleasance and David Warner killing women, but now you're upset? It's like, no, it's taking too long. So,
All right.
I mean, and really, if you were born after the year 1974, you need to go back and look at these fucking 70s films, because this is where all the shit you're watching now is a derivative of this shit. I mean, Creepshow. Remember Creepshow?
Absolutely.
Creepshow and the Tales of the Crypt TV show, which these fucking millennials probably don't remember any of those either.
You keep saying millennials.
Yeah, I know. I've gotten onto that kick, and maybe it's because the people I'm working at keep saying things. You know what happened at work the other day is I had an issue with my monitor. There was like this weird glitch behind it. It like traveled behind it, like there was static.
Okay.
And so I turned to the guy behind me, who's I think is like 20 something, and I was like, man, look at this. It's weird. It's like, yeah. He says, wow, you remember like the monitors when they had the degauss button and you click it and it would go and it would fix an issue like that? And like, he looked at me like, there's like no expression. No. Oh. Another guy, never heard of vaudeville.
Really?
Yeah, really, vaudeville. I don't know. I remember what the conversation was, but I mentioned vaudeville. What's that? What do you mean? What's that? Yeah, what's? I've never heard of that. You've never heard of vaudeville, really? Okay, I'm done with this conversation. We're done.
Well,
That's what.
I found out very recently that, and I didn't know the time frame of when a millennial is considered to have been born, and it's between 1980 and the year 2000.
That sounds right.
So,
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
wife has always thought she was Gen X.
Your wife is not Gen X.
Well, she's not, because she's born in 1981.
No fucking way she's Gen X. No, because I'm Gen X.
Well, so am I.
Yeah, right. So how is she? Because she's jailbait, when you were dating her.
That doesn't mean anything.
Yes, it does. It means there's a wide age gap
There's
there.
only a 5-year gap between us.
That was enough.
But she misses Gen X by just 2 years.
If that age gap involves legalities, yes, that matters. So yeah.
But anyway, there are a lot of people that are getting lumped in with millennials because they actually are. There are a lot of people that will criticize millennials and not realize that they actually are millennials.
I'm not criticizing millennials.
No, I'm not saying you. I'm just saying
all
I'm saying is there are a lot of people that make a lot of stupid posts online, specifically on Facebook, that say a lot of shit about millennials. And it's like, dude, you are a fucking millennial. You just don't know it.
Yeah, you're talking about those that equate to, the kids today.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, I'm not saying that. I'm saying there's an obvious generational gap.
I never said that you were.
I'm just clarifying. There's an obvious generational gap where the guys I'm like, you've never actually used a floppy disk, have you? It's like, oh, sure I have. It's like, the 5.5 inch? It's like, oh, what, you mean the big ones? Motherfucker. Yeah, I mean the big ones. Oh, no, I never used those. Yeah, of course not, because you're a fucking millennial.
You ever use a 3.5 inch, which were the more popular? And when
I
say
thought it was 5.5 and 3.25. So it's 5.5 and 5.25 and 3.5.
It's 5.25, 3.5.
Like it matters anymore.
It doesn't fucking matter. But the point being, if you've used a 5.25, then yeah, you not that you're old, but it's like you've been around. If whoever you're talking to hasn't even used a 3.5, at least that shit was around 15 years ago.
Yeah. The guy at work, he was like, yeah, I remember when I forget how again, conversation. It's like, yeah, I remember when I was 14. And I was using this word something like WordPress or not WordPress, obviously.
WordPerfect.
Not even WordPerfect. There's something weird before that. It's like, yeah, I remember 14. I was using that and only had like 17 lines, or whatever. It's like he stops, like, yeah, I remember as I was 14 and I was using a typewriter. Shut up.
Yeah, every fucking report that I did for high school was on a typewriter.
No, I actually mentioned. I was actually talking about this today. My senior English paper on the Zodiac Killer, which I still have in a folder behind me, was done on a dot matrix printer, but it was the kind where it printed out and you could tear off the
pin feed.
You could tear off the pin feed, so it was like straight paper.
Yep, pin feed.
I could dig it out in like 10 minutes, 5 minutes if I wanted to. It was right behind me. And by the way, senior school paper on a serial killer, and I got an A. That's right. This is before Columbine and all that shit. That was back when teachers didn't even realize that like your student writing about a serial killer might be a sign.
It might be a flag.
I had a noose in my fucking locker, dude, and not only was I not like kicked out of the school, they never even recommended psychiatric treatment. What's up with that? Fucking, they talk about snowflakes. Really? I kind of agree in some ways. Yeah. Everybody work. Anybody who's actually slit their throat in during lunch period, raise your hands. Yeah, I didn't think so, motherfuckers, pussies.
The only with the whole snowflake thing, and I know we've gone off topic because it's where we're ending the show very very quickly. It's just it's the way I read it that annoys me. It's just I can envision the person on the other end actually saying it.
I used the word
with vitriol, and
Yeah.
it really just makes me. It just puts me in a bad place where it's like, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, I use the word snowflake almost ironically.
Well, yeah, no, I know you do.
Entering hipster mode, right? Because generally people that use the word snowflake are referring to left-wing people who are upset about, I don't know, racism. and things like that. Like, oh, you little snowflake, you don't like it when people call you nigger. It's like, no, I don't. I really don't. I really, really don't. Yeah. And the one thing I have to say is, since you mentioned it, having been attacked from both sides, left and right, during my tenure at Goddard College, I still lean left. I really do, a lot. It's very obvious by my writings and other things, but every now and then you get pulled a bit to the right.
Well, when it starts making sense, it's like, yeah, that does make some sense.
Yeah, it's like when they complain about politically correctness stuff because, like, we want to call it a personal cover. George Carlin said, like, yeah, all right, now we're getting silly. But then when they complain about political correctness on the right because it's like, you don't want to call them the Indians anymore and do the tomahawk dance. It's like, no, we don't, because it's fucking ignorant.
Right. Well, it's like they've been the left has been trying for a very long time to get the football team, the Washington Redskins, to change their name because they feel that it's insensitive, and it is an insensitive name.
Yeah. They don't feel it's insensitive; they know it's insensitive.
Right, but it's been the name of the team for decades.
We've called.
No one's had a problem with it until the last, say, 10 years or so. Much less, actually.
We've called our team the Cincinnati Darkies for like 60 years now. All of a sudden, there's a problem? Yeah, because your grandfather's dead.
Yeah. Within the last 5 years, they've had a real problem with the Washington Redskins. It's a name that's never going to change. There's too much money to be made for the team. There's too much memorabilia. There's too much merchandise that's still being sold to just go up and change the name. They're never going to do it.
I'm going to mention briefly now, before we wrap the episode up, we are going to be starting up Strangers in a Strange Land again.
Yes.
Joey's going to be involved sporadically, and I'm going to be recording episodes with my father. And so that first, our reunion episode, so to speak, is going to be the three of us. That might go 2 or 3 hours.
Oh, God.
Yeah, because I've been promising my father before the elections that we would do this, and like every month he's like, "When are we going to start this up again?" Because I got a lot of stuff to talk about. It's like, I know you do.
Well, the next week we don't do a 2-hour Moviesucktastic.
No,
there's no way I could do this for 5 hours.
Or we do it on separate days. This is the old. No, we're not.
No, we could do it next Thursday. It's just that from 8 to 9 is Moviesucktastic, and then from 9 till whenever is Strangers.
Hold on, that swallow was officially the last of this wonderful Napago Castle.
Oh, wow.
Oh, I needed it tonight, I tell you. Just, oh, man. Having to rewatch fucking Lords of Salem.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. Christ on the cross.
You know what's so bad about the film? There's not even like a quote to give. Like, oh, remember this line? No. You can't even narrow it down to one line. It's just whole segments of the film. What the fuck am I watching?
Is it that time?
Probably is. I apologize for going long.
No, it's okay.
But dude, I tell you, sometimes when you and I get in here, it's like all the stress of the week comes out. It's like, yeah, let's talk about movies. Yeah, let's talk about fucking movies, man. Yeah. Yeah, let's talk about movies. And it's just like it just
You want that movie, don't you?
Can't-
You want it.
You can't call down the thunder and not expect, some lightning.
To episode 256 of
Holy
Moviesucktastic.
shit!
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Doing this a long time. And here's the thing.
How many days in a year? It's 356, right?
365.
365. So it has no bearing whatsoever on what you just said. Never mind. Continue.
Yeah, no. If we did the show, like we take breaks and we go on like hiatuses sometimes. If we did a show every week and didn't, which I can't even fucking fathom that, just there's no fucking way I could do this every single week for 8 straight years.
Oh.
Not fucking possible.
Unless you're being paid for it.
Even then, I would probably figure out a way to get away with not having to do one every week.
I don't know. If we were getting paid, I honestly would be really hard pressed to have like a sick day for this job.
Yeah.
Oh.
But
wait, hold on. Wait, you mean I have to go and drink and talk about films again? Oh, all right.
But yeah, we do like 30 to 40 shows a year, which out of a 52-week year, pretty damn good.
But don't forget, we also double up on Oscar
We
month.
do double up on Oscars.
That usually, I really think that when we double up on the Oscar months, we kind of fill the gaps whenever we take hiatuses.
No, we do. We do.
Hiatus is never planned. I know occasionally I was like, yeah, you want to record tonight? Oh.
No.
I don't know, dude. I can't. How about you? Oh, all right. Do you?
I am not opposed to taking a week off.
It's one of those things where we try to put on the other person's hey, if you need to take a break, we can. It's like, no. If you don't feel up to the night,
And we're both I'm ready to go.
Done.
I'm ready to go, but if you want to take a day off, and then we'll get back. You know what? Let's do that.
You know what the problem is? The problem is we record on Thursday night.
Yeah.
And so like the weight of the week is on top of us. By the time you get Thursday and you're at work on Thursday and
sure, you're working for the weekend.
Working
for the weekend.
Yeah, depending on the week you've had and what else is going on, you're just like, and I gotta go home and I gotta stay.
I got 30 seconds before this music ends.
Oh, the music's on?
Yeah, of course it is.
I don't know. All right, goodbye.
Real quick, go to our website at moviesucktastic.com. Leave us voicemail at 908-514-4470. Email us at themovieguys@moviesucktastic.com. Go to our Facebook page. Get the free app. And that's it. Oh, look at this. Beautiful fade out. I love it. We'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye.
Hold on. Last words.
Oh, what are your last words?
Pickle Rick!
Beautiful.